It says. It just said. Now I can't hear you. Are you talking? Oh. Backstage in the green room, we get crazy.
But we're not in the back. We're not in the green room.
Outstage, out front, on the stage,
Out
we get
front.
crazy.
Woo! Hello, everyone. Just checking in with Charles Hall to see if you can hear me now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, brother.
Great, great. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Upper Room. I am Eugene Holden, your host. And today I got my brother once again, my brother, Reverend Charles Hall. How you doing, man? Good to be with you again.
Yeah, that's it. Just it lifts me up just to be with you, and you know, makes my heart just expand out, man. Just being here, I'm really good. I got this crazy dog in my house who's going nuts, and you know, life is good today. In this moment, it's good.
Right? And you know, here's the thing, right? That's all that there is this moment. You know, whenever I facilitate a meditation, I 98% of the time have people connect with their breath. Not only the breath is always good, because without the breath, life is not quite the same, but also the breath reminds us that there's only this moment, because I can't breathe for 2 minutes ago or 3 minutes from now. I can only breathe now. Yeah.
Well, I love that. Can I just jump in on that thing real quick?
Of course.
Most of us only get enough breath to stay alive. You know, like it's a kind of a baseline. We just take enough breath to keep the body going. But to take those vitalizing, deep, you know, like thriving breaths. I lead a meditation group on Monday mornings, every Monday morning, called 15 to Fortify. And we always begin, it's just 15 minutes, but we always begin and end that time with breath. Deep, you know, a breath that you actually feel like your body vibrated at a different level, because we're taking in not just enough, but plenty.
Yeah.
You know, so you feel like expansive, and you feel centered. And like you said, you feel like you're back. You feel like you're in the moment. Yeah, it's a blessing. It's good.
It really is. It really is. I was reading somewhere, man, where the difference between fear and excitement is all in the breath. Because when we're in fear, we don't breathe. The breath is shortened, it's constricted. You know, so to get out of that breath, get out of that fear, and start to change the vibration to excitement, is you breathe. You know, you breathe and then embrace whatever is there in that moment, right? In the moment. I love
that. Does that work on an airplane too, man? Because people have said that, you know, when you're in crazy turbulence on an airplane, just think of it like you're on a ride at Disney World. I'm like, well, this ride at Disney World isn't at 35,000. And we're not flying through the air in a tin can. So I appreciate the sentiment. I'll work on that.
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit different ride, because the Disneyland ride, it will come to a stop and I can get off and go get a hot dog. Yeah. If this ride comes to an abrupt stop,
I appreciate the breath. Yeah, man. The breath is
the breath.
It's fundamental, isn't it? It's fundamental. It's foundational.
It's foundational. It's foundational. You know, without the breath, man, life is different. You know, and it oxygenates the blood, it exercises the organs, you know, and again, it reminds us that there's only this moment right here and right now. You know?
Love it.
Yeah. And what else I love about the breath, because the word is so important, the spoken word is so important. It is the source of the word. It causes the word to come out, right? Yeah, without the breath. Cool, man. It's a great vibration. And it's a great place to jump off on today with you, right? I wanted to speak about, and we touched upon it before we went live, is, you know, with everything going on, Charles, with everything going on, you know, there's a lot of, I look at it as an opportunity to love, right? And every experience is an opportunity to raise our vibration. Every experience is an opportunity to show up, right? And so with everything that's going on, Here we go. I was like, where am I looking for? I'm looking for that
you
right
distracted
there.
over there? What are you doing, brother?
Yeah, man. I was looking for that so that people know who I'm talking to.
See, baby.
With everything, you know, that is going on, and you and I have heard this before, right? Being getting caught up in the weapons of mass distraction, right? So wanting to make sure that we focus on something greater, you know, raising the vibration. So what is it? What are some of the ways in which when you find yourself in that stuff? Oh, and I want to say this, folks, that when we find ourselves in that muck and mire, to embrace the muck and mire. Right? You know, if I'm upset, then let me embrace that. You know, I'm going to raise the vibration, but let me move on and let Charles speak here to that.
Well, no, that's it, brother. It's accepting what is in the moment. You know, we thought life is good all the time. You know, bullshit. It's not good all the time. You know, or unless you're calling hardship and loss and grief and life's curveballs good, then it's good all the time. You can bring it all into harmony. But most people use that as kind of like just a coat of paint to put all over it because it sounds good. And that's what we're supposed to sound like on a Sunday morning. And it's bullshit because life's the adventure, man. And as emotional beings, we feel all sorts of stuff. So I think that's first, like when it's difficult, just acknowledge that it's difficult.
Right.
Right now it's hard, man. You know,
right.
My dog just died, or my partner's dealing with cancer. Life's good all the time. Fucking bullshit, man. Acknowledge that it's hard. It sucks right now. This person that I love so much. Is it purposeful? Yes. Can I find purpose in it? If I turn my attention toward an intention of finding purpose, yes. To be more loving, to be more generous, to be more kind, to soak up every moment. We find purpose in all of that. But to say that it's fine when it's not it's whack, man. It's like, I mean, I'm crazy, but that's like a different level of crazy. Like you're out of touch, man. That's some sociopathic shit right there. Am I driving that point home a little too hard?
So what do you really mean, man?
So here's what I do. A few things, man, is acknowledge what's going on. I mean, if you can accept that it's challenging and difficult, or accept when it's joyful and beautiful, that's a gift, man. Because life is transient. It's going to keep on moving. You know, the only thing that keeps something stuck in as a pattern is our attention and our relationship with it. So if we keep things moving, if we keep the energy flowing, if we be as water, then it just keeps on flowing, doesn't it? There's going to be hardship. There's going to be beauty. There's going to be times of joy. There's going to be times of pain. Sunshine and rain.
Right.
So I do that. Work on it as a practice. The breath, as we've already talked about, but I also I take this book with me everywhere I go, man.
Oh man, one of my favorites.
And if you want to talk about raise your vibration, or kind of check your mind and get it into a place in your heart of a higher vibration, as we call it, or kind of adjustment, or if I'm feeling like maybe I'm suffering or I'm indulging the pain a little bit, man, I just pull this out because you can open up to any page, and God within you knows by pure intuition. You know, that's for knowing that the law of God is perfect. I lay aside all fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Boom. You know, like any page in here, and it's like a cup of hot cocoa on a cold winter's eve. I mean, it's so those are a few practices. Get a book that you love, that affirms truth. Work on taking deep breaths that bring the attention into the moment, and work on accepting. You know, in recovery circles, they call it life on life's terms, not fantasy land, man. We don't go to fantasy land. Like, wishful thinking isn't going to change shit. Accepting what is, acknowledging the way that it is, and then realizing that I have dominion over the moment, and that I can adjust by the help of Ernest Holmes, or by the help of Eric Butterworth, or by the help of Paramahansa Yogananda, that I can shift, that I can shift. So Surround yourself with the mystics. Surround yourself with the Eugene Holdens of the world. Let me get down here and get my book. Man, I realize I'm not even quite 50 yet. I turned 50 and I'll be 49 the end of December, man. But man, every time I bend down to pick something up, I'm grunting now. Like I'm grunting just because that's what you do.
That's where it is right now, or that's where you are right now.
I'm like, let me get this book.
You know, one of the most powerful experiences I had about accepting what is 2005, 2006, and I was just a newly licensed practitioner through Agape, and my prayer partner at the time, I just gone through an experience with a business partner or somebody. It wasn't a business partner, somebody that I was working on, and he flipped the script on me, because it was, if I work with this client, these 2 or 3 clients, then I'm going to get, half of what they paid, which would have been about $6,000. Right. So it's time for me to get paid. And he goes, no, we never talked about that. I'm like, well, excuse me? And was just really pissed off about it. So I called my prayer partner, and she did something and said something, man, that was, I remember to this day. She says, so do you want to pray right now, or do you want to bitch and moan? I'm like, you know what? Let me bitch and moan for right now.
Let me bitch and moan for a minute. You bet.
Because I need to, because I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to that, because I'm going to come back to center, but I can't come back to center unless I allow myself to feel what I feel. And that's accepting life on life's terms. This is what's going on.
I love that's deep. That's rich, man. Let me bitch and moan for a minute. I'm not going to bitch and moan for the rest of my life. I'll get to the truth. Yeah.
Right.
But right now, let me go, hit the punching bag. Let me go, let me go, whatever it is, right? Let me move this energy. I'm angry. Who said there's something wrong with being angry? Be angry. I'm not going to stay there. All these spiritual platitudes and stuff, and all this. It's all, man. As we grow and develop, we mature in our awareness of what the spiritual life really is. And what I've come to understand, you talk about with all the stuff going on, is to realize that what we can be are centers of integration. Centers of integrating all the stuff that's happening everywhere, not just over there. We get real caught up in over there, and then we don't realize what's happening right here on the battleground of my own heart, man. Talk about mass distraction. I'm not taking care of the war at home.
Come on, man.
Right here. So that's integration. It's not the spiritual path isn't to get more shit, demonstrate a bunch of stuff. That's 101. That's like, that's kids. That's for children.
Right.
Let me get
that's kindergarten.
Let me get some stuff. Let me get mine. It becomes finding purpose and integrating the anger, the grief, the disbelief, the unbelief, the alienation, all these things to become a place of integration, so that I can begin to see that everything's purposeful, and that that I actually can become a living instrument, a living tool for reconciliation. Like one of the things I realized recently, and I hadn't had words on it for a while. I don't think I ever had words for it or context for it, but people have kind of acknowledged about me over the years that I sound weird talking like this. I don't mean to hype myself like that, but that I'm a listener, that I listen. And I know that about myself. Right. And I realize that one of the burdens that I carry through life is, if I want to affect change in any environment that I'm at, one of the things that we lack generally is a willingness to understand the other, a willingness to understand that person. And I realize that one of the burdens that I carry through life is, and I mean burden in a useful way, is the capacity to listen to that other guy first, or other gal, whether he's saying something I agree with or if he's a complete jackass, idiot. I always listen first. And what that does is allows for an environment in which there can be an exchange of ideas.
Correct.
But I realize more and more, if I go into an environment and I start talking first, that door shuts down. But by listening first and having the capacity and the willingness to be a place of integration and just kind of welcome it all in. Like, I may think he sounds like an idiot, but I can also lean into his listening and see and ask why.
Right.
Where's that brother coming from? Where's that sister come? Like, why? And if I'm leaning in and listening like that, man, there's this vast capacity that opens up for understanding, for peace, for reconciliation in my own environment. So that's another tool, man, with all the stuff going on. That's another tool is I think we can each of us become more willing listeners.
You know, I'm glad that you bring that part up because, you know, the art of communication, and that's what it really is, right? It's communicating, but communicating is not just speaking, right? No. I think the most important thing for me is having the capacity to listen, but not only to listen, but to hear. I mean, even if I'm listening first, or let me put it another way, even if I allow them to talk first, right? I could be, and I've done this before in the past. I'm listening. No, they're talking, but I'm trying to make up some kind of response. I'm not even really listening. You know, I may be hearing them, but I'm not listening. Right. So, and if we are not aware, man, listening can become a lost art. So what I like to push, you know, what I like to tell clients and anybody who will listen is to cultivate the art of listening. I mean, let me listen to what you are really saying. And if I don't understand, I love what you said, man. Let me get to the point. Let me understand what's going on.
And that means to inquire. We inquire. Let me ask some more questions as well. Like if I'm baffled, let me inquire. Because most people love to talk about what their point of view. They love to talk about themselves or their understanding or, you know, it's part of where we get meaning and acknowledgement and we're seen. So if I provide an avenue for that, something happens to the heart space, man. Something happens. There's a willingness that opens up. And that's healing, brother. You know, that's healing. Because I spent plenty of my years steamrolling my way through life. This is how I view it. This is how I view it. And this is the way it's going to be. And man, it's fucking exhausting. I got to a point where I was exhausted. Like, why do I just want to keep like trying to dominate life? You know, whatever it is, we're trying to get these things. And I think that's kind of, we talk about with all the things going on. We've got so many millions and billions of people that are trying to demonstrate what they want and get what they want. And we just steamroll over each other, man.
Right.
You know, there's no cooperation.
No cooperation. Yeah.
And we realize that in that grace, man, there's a greater peace, a greater serenity. And, you know, you might get your millions, you might get the corner office and the CEO job, and you might get, you know, to lord over all those, you know, hundreds of people and whatever it might be. But do you have peace? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Do you have peace? And I would ask that to anybody, whatever their status is, man. Are you reconciled in your own heart?
Right.
Can you go look in the mirror and look in that person's eyes and just really like deeply look in that person's eyes and go, I actually appreciate who that person is. I actually love who I'm looking at.
Right.
That's kind of a different level, man. And that takes a tremendous amount of work.
You know, and what it also takes, man, Charles, is a tremendous amount of courage and willingness to love myself so much that I'm willing to see the love in you. Right. God, anytime I go out, I was out yesterday, man, and before I get there, let me set this up real fast. You know, one of the words that I've found myself using when somebody asks how I'm doing, and this came up about a month ago. And I sat there and I'm like, you know what? I am happy. And when I heard myself say it, I also felt myself. I felt, God, I'm happy. Now I'm always in a great mood, man. I'm always in joy. I'm one of my answers. Hey, Eugene, how are you? I am fantastic, right? But I found myself saying, God, I am happy because life, even in the midst of all of the stuff, because stuff goes on, right? I am happy. So yesterday, I'm coming out of the market and I say hi to whoever. Hey, what's going on? And the guy looks at me and goes, God, the smile on your face, man, is infectious. While I was in the store, I'm listening to the music, man, and I'm dancing. And a woman, she says, that's the way to shop. And what I am recognizing, I do this intentionally, talking about raising the vibration. Well, let me embrace what's going on in my life, because not everything is always okay. Life isn't always okay. There could be shit going on, right? But let me embrace that. And it is in that embracing that I get to then become free instead of trying to push it away. Because if I try to push it away, it's going to burst out like a pimple someplace else, Yeah. So
man.
raising that vibration and then focusing on being that presence of joy. My affirmation, man, since 99 in Science of Mind 1, right, was I am the joy of God. Yes, since 99, week 3 of foundations class,
Wow.
right? Had to come up with my own my own affirmation for class, and that's been it since then. I am the joy of God. I am. So when that infinite intelligence thinks of me, it's in joy. Please. So let me be that. So don't you know who I am?
Don't you? I love that, man. I love that. And that over, what is that? Coming up on 25 years.
Yeah.
24 years you've been working with that affirmation. That's something that becomes you, right? You identify you. And that's a wonderful thing about the walk with the Spirit, like an intimate walk with the Spirit is, I would imagine it's like any long-term relationship, like sometimes there's lust in the house and sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's this real profound intimacy and sometimes we're just going through the motions.
Right.
Sometimes there's a real familiarity and sometimes we change and we're growing like, who's that? And how'd you get in my bed? It's part of the journey, right? Like I just came to a new awareness for the Spirit for me, like a name, if you will. And I wrote it over here on my little whiteboard. It says, my name is Harmony. And that's how the Spirit presents itself to me now. My name is Harmony. Sometimes scripture says, Pulp Fiction made it, and you'll know my name is the Lord when I strike, blah, blah, blah. But, that's the Lord's name that's dancing on my heart right now is harmony, bringing it all together, that there's a harmony happening, man. And my charge, this is my spiritual walk, is to perceive it. Right. In war, in death, in destruction, in peace, in joy, is to perceive harmony.
Yeah.
It's work. Keeps me busy, like you being in joy, man.
Yeah. Being in harmony, I tell people being the, musician that I am, the percussionist that I am, right? I got this a number of years ago. I was at this gig speaking with this bass player. And I'm like, dude, everything's about the music. It's all about the music, man. Right. It's all about the music, man, because we have the universe, right? The one stanza, the one song. And when everybody is in harmony, when things are working, when everybody is in one accord, the chord, C-H-O-R-D, and then A-C-C-O-R-D, and then everything runs harmoniously. Now, there are times when we find that we are having a discordant experience, but we know that we are because it doesn't feel in harmony. And so, and to embrace that, and then whatever we need to do to be and to get back in tune. See, it's all about the music, bro. It's all about the music, man.
You have a drum nearby?
Oh man, now? Well, it's in the car. It's in the car.
Oh, it's in the dang it.
Yeah.
You ever get on one of these? Just start flapping? Flapping. Oh. That's the technical.
Yep, all the time, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what beatbox is about. It's the drum. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, man. So everything is in harmony, man. So yeah, man. See,
not trying to make it harmony, but to perceive the harmony. Like even with the music thing, like in a symphony when you go and they're like before they actually get into, they're like all kind of doing their own thing, like or whatever, they're tuning their stuff, and everybody's doing it, and it doesn't sound great. But then they all kind of go into the one key, whatever it is, and then they kind of get in the flow. I'm talking about even perceiving harmony in that.
Yes.
Like not when it sounds good, not when I'm like, ooh, that's in the slot. I'm talking about even the times when it is discordant or when it's, all over the place. I'm like, I need to perceive harmony in that too.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Can I see harmony in that that as well? Purpose. That's the spirit, man. Because in my Father's house are many mansions, or in my Father's house are many schools. There's got to be possibility and a room for all of it. The discordant and the cordant. Is cordant a word?
Yeah, it is. It is now. I'm reminded, and we don't have much more time, but I'm reminded, and I know one of my brothers, Valachi, is going to tune in into this. So speaking about finding harmony in the discordant, right? So when we're on the mat, right, and we're working out and we're sparring, right, and it may look like to people who are outside, there's this clashing that's going on, but there's this harmonious flow that's going back and forth, right? And it doesn't matter who gets the point or who gets the punch. It's about flowing in this harmonious way that looks like kicks and punches and everybody getting hit and all that good stuff. But there's a harmony. There's a peace within that activity. Yeah, man.
Peace within that activity.
Yeah. There's peace within that activity. In the activity, there is a stillness. Man, I can talk about some experiences I've had on the mat, fighting where it's going on, but there's a stillness that's going on too. Shit's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, love that. That's the practice, right? The discipline.
Yeah, man. So, Brother Charles, people can always connect with you, right?
Always. I love working with people one-on-one. It's one of my joys to help. There's a website right there. thelifecaddy.com. You can get in touch with me through that website. I love to roll up my sleeves and help people find their own harmony,
Yeah.
Like bringing all of it into the storehouse of goodness and finding purpose and meaning there. So with people with small groups, with businesses, it could be in any, all sorts of settings, to find that freedom, find that purpose, find that meaning, which leads to greater joy, which all leads to more, growth and productivity and all those types of things. So reach out, holler, man. The doors are open.
Yeah, and I'm going to just encourage folks to do that. I've been knowing my brother Charles for a while now, and that's why Charles is on this show once a month, because just grounded in principle, and comes for real, comes correct.
Comes correct. Thank you, brother. I your work is powerful, and I'm grateful to have known you as long as I have, and really honored and grateful to be on here with you once a month. So let's keep doing it, man.
Everybody for joining us on the Upper Room. I'm Eugene Holden. This is my brother Charles Hall, and we're on here. I'm on here every Wednesday live, 12 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and whatever else is out there. All right, my brother, peace and blessings.
Peace.